There were some WWE releases this week, but as of right now, these were just staff layoffs as a part of a restructuring. Nothing has been heard on talent releases as of right now. But let's be honest, this is how it usually starts, and I am not looking forward to this company that constantly has sponsorships and brags about gates to release some key names and people losing their jobs coming up. Then, Elena Black, formerly known as Cora Jade, appeared on TMZ's Inside the Ring this week to say that she agrees with The Undertaker's disappointment over wrestlers filming TikToks backstage.
Don't quote me, I don't want to butcher exactly what he said, but something along the lines of he goes backstage at NXT and everyone is sitting around making TikToks and doing stuff on their phone instead of watching and learning from the matches.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is what I've been saying for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's only after he says it are people like, yeah, he's right. And I'm like, yeah, because it's The Undertaker. Of course he's right. But I also think that.
Yeah,
and
The Undertaker gets criticized sometimes too for saying that.
Exactly. And it's like, it's just, when I saw him say that, I just felt so validated because I was like, thank you. Like somebody else sees what I and like my friends and everyone we're just seeing, and like, it just broke our heart because we're all wrestling fans. You know, it got to the point where it's not my hill to die on anymore. It's not my thing to care about anymore. It's just not my place anymore. And it just got, I throw my hands up. It is what it is.
Yeah, listen, I can scroll on Cora Jade's TikTok for about 15 seconds and find the exact thing that she's doing that The Undertaker didn't like that she's now agreeing with. I got no problem with wrestlers making TikToks because at the end of the day, however you get over is however you get over. But equally, I respect a wrestler on the rise like Xena Sterling, for example, who spends her spare time clearly watching old school shows and pay-per-views to study the game. Equally, I can understand where The Undertaker is coming from. I mean, that man lived and breathed his character forever, but times have changed. Elena also discussed the parasocial relationship that fans seem to have with her.
What would affect me is fans, again, feel so parasocial with the wrestlers in the sense that they think that they are owed something or like are allowed to bring up your relationships and speak on things. Like I still get comments about people I dated 3 years ago and it's like, drop it. Are you bringing up to your friends in their real life, their exes that they dated 3 years ago and asking about them? Fans feel like, I don't know, they're either owed an explanation of something or they just think it's funny to like bring it up, but you wouldn't do that to somebody in real life, which I just feel like goes back to anything else.
Cora Jade also opened up about how CM Punk helped her make the decision to step away from professional wrestling.
So many things that he said to me in that conversation really helped me, and he told me like I don't owe anybody anything and I don't have to stick in something that's no longer serving me, and that really stuck with me.
Cool
it's really
feeling.
cool to have this person as a friend who I can, you know, laugh and joke with, but also realize that I looked up to this person for so long, for so many reasons, and now I get to ask this person for advice for the reasons I looked up to them, you know, and they're giving me advice that it really did help me. And I guess I don't want to say like having his approval like made me finally do it, but just hearing someone who means that much to me and I respect so much and look up to so much say, hey, if it's not serving you anymore, you don't owe anybody anything. You are allowed to take care of yourself. Kind of hearing that from him really was kind of one of the things that made me be like, okay, like, you're right. I'm going to do it. If you're saying that to me, if you're not going to be mad at me,
we're good.
I'm out.
I'm sure Cora will return to pro wrestling someday, but wrestling is a very taxing business. You are constantly in the eye of criticism from the majority of fans that are never happy. You're held to such a high constant standard while putting your body on the line every week, and sometimes that can kill your passion for the game. Then, in headlines I feel like I've seen on loop for the last 6 months, Nikki Bella says she keeps pushing for Brie Bella's WWE return. She went on to say, quote, all the women want her back and they keep asking me every week, has that decision changed? I don't think legacies should be determined on spouses, but I also understand business. The thing is, why does it matter that Bryan is team AEW? They're not conjoined at the hip. Nikki and Brie are the package deal here. I'm not sure why Bryan's activity even weighs into their decision. So Brie was in an AEW ring one time. I've seen people brought back who have done far worse than cheer on their husband. And the craziest thing is, people people act like stars such as Jericho, Moxley, or Danielson will never return to WWE. At the end of the day, the wrestling business is a business. People go from one company to another. It just happens that way. It's been that way for a very long time. I guarantee you, before it is all said and done, Bryan and Mox will both be back in WWE minimum for a Hall of Fame induction, if not a final run. Then, in fantastic news, there has been no talk of Vince McMahon returning to WWE in any capacity at this point. Sources at the top of WWE claim that they have no desire to bring him back, and that there have been no discussions regarding McMahon contributing in a creative capacity. WWE talent spoken to also weren't surprised that there were so many present WWE talent at Vince McMahon's birthday party. One who spent a lot of time working with McMahon said, quote, "A lot of people here still feel like they owe Vince something, even though he made his money back on them tenfold." Another talent who didn't attend said that there are in fact a number of talent who wants to see the court situation involving Janelle Grant play out before deciding to sever ties, as that is what they'd want if the shoe was on the other foot. The weird relationship that so many wrestlers still have with Vince McMahon needs to be studied. From one angle, I can kind of understand. Wrestlers like John Cena have gone on to say he's like a father figure, and I guess you would always defend your father, but so many of you, man, are still on your knees for this sicko, and I don't get it. It's also worth noting that a person in attendance of Vince McMahon's birthday party said it was the first time they had seen McMahon in years, and he looked 80, before elaborating that McMahon seemed more frail, walked slower, and looked his age in a manner that he hadn't in decades before leaving the company. This is just what happens to some people. You stop working and all of a sudden it all catches up to you. And also the many years of being a horrible person, a pervert, a sex trafficker, a racist, but you get it. Then, in lighter news, good old JR has confirmed that he's signed another year with AEW.
Saw somewhere online, somebody sent me something where they said that I was negotiating with WWE to go back. I hadn't heard that one. I haven't talked to them. No plans to go back. Not that I'm saying that out of animosity or anger, but it's not the right time for me to get more involved in business. But they could come to me with an idea that we haven't discussed, and I might reconsider. But I like being where I am. I like the schedule that I have, the freedoms that I have. I enjoy working with these young talents. I developed a good relationship with all those kids at AEW, and I'm happy where I am. I really am. It's not a lot of stress and pressure. And I just I signed a new contract for a year.
Oh, good for you. Breaking news here.
Yeah. We got that done before I left. So,
so it's official now. You're with AEW through next summer?
1 year.
Okay.
Next summer. Next August, I think it is.
In all honesty, I really like the limited dates and the limited matches he has right now in AEW, where he's just there for the bigger stuff. I think he will inevitably go back to WWE for one final call before he calls it a career, but AEW has treated this man with so much respect, so much love, and he's had some incredibly iconic moments on that side of the pond, so I'm happy he's staying on board until next year. And just in general, good old JR has been through so much in his life, so much in like the last couple decades alone. So I'm just happy that he's still rocking, he's still doing his thing, you know, I'm happy he's still here. Speaking of AEW, while I don't do weekly reviews of Dynamite, I have to point out that Darby Allin is a madman. Keeping in mind, this was just a couple of days after he was in the ear, by the way, repeatedly. I worry about that man's long-term health, I really do. Although I think the version of this spot that Obafemi and Javon Evans did was far better in my opinion.
Bad situation, could be getting worse. Holy!
There's been conversation within WWE about Chris Jericho returning to the company, and among a lot of talent too. The belief is Jericho has made overtures to see whether the company has interest in him after his deal with AEW expires. As I've said previously about this news, I can see him coming back. I think it will happen. He's done pretty much everything he needs to do in AEW and ROH, and he was a huge part of putting AEW on the map. I think the tweets about him becoming the next leader of Judgment Day and calling them the Painmakers is so funny yet scarily reality. Then, in more AEW drama, Hook returned with a brand new theme song and hasn't used Chairman's Intent in a while. The reason being that last year Action Bronson took shots at the AEW environment, which definitely didn't sit well with a number of people in All Elite Wrestling. However, at least one person said things seemingly were smoothed over at one point, but the decision was actually made by then to move on to a different theme song for Hook. It was noted back in January that Hook was coming out without his entrance for a specific reason. The rights to the Bronson song had ended and expired, and the company was working on what to do with his next theme. If you go back as far as January in AEW, you will notice that they were being quite creative in the ways they were bringing Hook out. They were doing it with other people or having him attack people without his entrance music playing. It's a shame he won't be entering to Chairman's Intent anymore because I think it suited him so well, and it's also one of my favorite songs of all time. But equally, the new song he enters to is very vigilante-esque and fits his aura. Then, there's been discussions of adding Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre to the Clash in Paris card. It's not 100%, but it's something that has been discussed, which was originally insane to me because Drew Cody felt like a layup, but Cody Rhodes just welcomed his second child, so congrats to him. Totally understandable why he's not making the pay-per-view.
How old are you have one kid or two?
Two. Oh, no, one. I'm sorry. One. Sorry. I don't know one.
How old is your kid?
4.
Yeah, so 6 is, it's like between 5.5.
But better yet, get Julia on this card defending the US title, because holy hell, what does she have to do to get on pay-per-view? Completely valid, Julia. I'd be crashing out too if I was treated like this. And on the topic of crash outs, I also have to share this video.
Babe, WrestleMania 2000.
Oh my god. What the?
Well, name me one match that happened at WrestleMania 2000.
I got the shirt for free.
I know. Name me one match. Name me one match.
I literally couldn't.
Okay, so here's another trivia fact. So
I couldn't even tell you who wrestled in 2000.
WrestleMania 2000, it wasn't the 2000th WrestleMania, right? So what WrestleMania number was it really?
20.
No.
22.
No.
17.
No.
I don't even know what WrestleMania it is now.
There's nothing worse than trying to be a fan of something and someone's constantly like, oh, but what happened here? Can you tell me exactly what? Shut up.